Mary Meet Annie here. This video is actually a response to Ms. Abramelin, and it's been a while ago that she put out a video saying, "What kind of Wiccan are you?" And I saw some really interesting responses about that. And I know a lot of you are relatively new to my channel. And while there's all kinds of introduction videos deep in the past when I was doing this channel setup, something as succinct as "what kind of Wiccan are you?" is a pretty good thing to get to know a little bit more about each other. I learned some really interesting things from the people who were responding to Becca's question that she put out there for us. What kind of Wiccan am I? I'm the kind of Wiccan who's actually come up in a witchy world where there wasn't any kind of Wiccan. There was only one way to be a Wiccan. That's why this new world that we're living in is so interesting for me, because I meet so many brothers and sisters who call themselves Wiccan. And they might not practice at all like I do and have many different beliefs and different ways of doing things. And so, Becca, I really liked your question, what kind of Wiccan are you? Because it honors that. Those of us who are using that descriptor for ourselves, it might be very interesting for people to learn what it means to us individually. So like I said, I came up in a world where there was only one kind of Wiccan. There was a very specific set of practices and beliefs, and it had to do with practicing in a group, and it had to do with certain religious tenets, which may or may not be something that's your experience of it. What kind of a Wiccan am I? I believe in the god and the goddess of the Wicca as very specific entities that exist as sentient, separate beings, believed into existence by those of us who have honored them. Yes, they have a lot in common with gods and goddesses throughout all time, but the god and the goddess of Wicca were believed into being, the way I look at it, by those who honored a specific set of meanings, of attributes, of powers, of lessons to be learned from the god and the goddess of the Wicca. So I do honor two deities in my life, the god and the goddess of the Wicca. I also respect and honor many other gods and goddesses that I have come to know over the years. Now for me, those gods and goddesses to me are ways of a deeper understanding of the god and the goddess of Wicca. So I don't see them as they would have been seen historically by those who worshipped them in the cultures of their time, as distinct beings, as distinct entities. It's something greater than seeing them as archetypes or myths, because I see them as ways to understand more deeply the god and the goddess of the Wicca and all the many different things that they can be for me. So I do honor, through all the things they can teach me, through their history and their stories and what they teach me about myself, and a deepened understanding of my relationship to the god and the goddess of the Wicca. I specifically have two that have made themselves particularly known to me over the years, and that would be Hestia and Parvati. An unusual duo, I know, but they have deepened my sense of who I am and can be as a woman, and they have deepened my sense of what the goddess of the Wicca is for me. The god has been a little bit more pokey about making himself known to me in forms other than the traditional Wiccan one. But he has made himself known through his many appearances that way. And he has shown up as Loki, and he has shown up as sometimes Zeus. He has shown up as Ganesh. He has shown up in some of the Orishas. So I have met him, but he hasn't been as forward about making himself known through faces, through other cultures and times. But Hestia and Parvati have made themselves very much known to me. So I am a Wiccan who believes in two very specific deities, which I do see as existing in reality, separate from the whole and sentient and individual in their own right. I believe in those two gods, and that the other things that I have explored have been a way of deepening my understanding of them and myself in relation to them and to others. I'm an elemental witch. That's the kind of Wiccan I am. The elements to me as an elemental Wiccan, are the foundations of existence, of wholeness, of completeness, of life, of being partnered with, one with everything that exists. It's also a way to co-create, being with those forces to use magic and affect change. To me is all about elemental work. I'm also a Wiccan that acknowledges the power of history and those who practice like I do. No, I don't think that Wicca goes back to some ancient matriarchal prehistory. No, I don't believe that at all. I know it's modern origins. However, what it connects to, the energies it connects to, working with the land and being one with the land and conceiving of the wholeness of life, the harmony indeed of life, to me is ancient, very ancient. So the history of what I am as a Wiccan goes back to everything that we knew instinctively, that our forebears knew instinctively, that our ancestors understood back before the times of modern religions. So there's history to it for me, tapping into a source that has been there forever. So I'm a Wiccan who believes in a very specific set of deities, the god and the goddess of the Wicca. I'm a Wiccan who is an elemental witch working with, being blended with, being part of, and working together in acts of creation with the elements of life, earth, air, fire, and water. And I'm a witch who understands the flow of history that has come through time to me at this very moment and will move through me and on from me. This connection, this wisdom, this ancient knowing that is this particular path. It's where it came from, and then at a point became something which was brought together, called Wicca, and moved on from there, but it is part of the process, the flow, the history of that. I'm a Wiccan who feels time. I feel the ancientness of what we do. I also feel it as fresh and new and moving forward. I'm a Wiccan who believes in community, in the power of coming together in our circles, in the way we share here, and the way we live in our communities and live our life. And believe in the energy of what we all are when we combine. Whether it's with others, whether it is with other aspects of life, of the elements of creation, I believe in the being more together than we are apart. That's what kind of Wiccan I am. And that brings me to the place in my being a Wiccan now where I can acknowledge Wiccan brothers and sisters who do things very differently than I do, who practice alone, who at the same time share this sense of ancient knowing that flows through us all. That's the kind of Wiccan I am. You could label me all kinds of things. You can call me by the names of my first circle and the tradition that I inherited by studying with them. You could say I'm a traditionalist. You could say I am a solitary because I do so much on my own in addition to what I do with my circle. You could say I'm a cyber Wiccan in the sense that the energy that I feel combined with many of you that I have met here online is deeply moving and spiritual to me, and we share so much. Here's a little bit about the kind of Wiccan that I am. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Merry part.